Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to today's episode of the Mastery Unleashed podcast. This is Christie Ruffino, the host, and I just want to thank you for being here. We're going to have a special episode today because I have the privilege of talking my business partner Tom into being on the show with me, and we have a great topic to talk about. So, welcome, Tom. I'm excited to have you on the show again. I think you were on once before.
Yeah, Christy, I can't wait. I'm always excited. I always figure there's at least two people listening at any one moment. So hello to both of you.
Or
Thanks for
maybe
making time.
Yeah, maybe you can get 2 listeners, I'll get 2 listeners, and then we'll have 4, so it'll be great.
Quantum growth. That would be mastery unleashed indeed. Perfect.
That would be. And so I really want you to hang on to the end because we have a special gift for you. But what I want to talk about today is having clarity in what you do, because so many entrepreneurs get stuck in this I want to help everybody mindset, right? They don't want to leave anybody behind. We have big hearts. We want to help everybody, and we do a little bit of everything, and then we never really get seen as a specialist. We remain a generalist, and we never get recognized as a go-to person, and we get stuck spinning in circles trying to do so many things that we're never really truly effective. And I have a crazy story how I lost a lot of money, which brought me into this partnership with Tom. And it was a time where I was forced to do what I needed to do to grow my business and get out of my comfort zone and do something that was scary, right? I had no choice. I had to do something that was scary and stop doing the little small things and do something that was really big, which was launch my $100,000 program. And so I really credit Tom to that because not only did he have his confidence in me, but he helped me create something that's pretty amazing. And so that is a 7-figure book launch program. And we help entrepreneurs really get clarity around what their high ticket offer is. We help them build their high ticket offer. Then we do a done for you book, and we do a done for you book launch, strategic philanthropy book launch, and we help them get to 7 figures in 2 years or less, guaranteed. And so it's an amazing program. It's an amazing process. And I really kind of want to talk briefly about the risk reverse guarantee because it's very unique. And so, Tom, this is something you've been doing for quite a while, right?
Yeah, well, it's something that I actually stumbled across when I was 23. It was a total fluke. I was doing some marketing consulting and I had made a proposal and I didn't know how to price things back then. I didn't have multiple pricing, 9 different pricing strategies like I have today. I just knew what I wanted to get paid on the gig. And but I also knew I was talking to a much older entrepreneur. He was 50, Christy. I mean, he was old. Ancient. I was 23 at the time. Now, when you're on the other side of 50, 50 doesn't seem so old, but that's a separate discussion. And so I thought, okay, he's going to grind me on price. So I wanted to make $2,000. So I thought I would ask for 4 and went through the proposal. It was an ad for Yellow Pages. For you kids out there, Yellow Pages is when the internet was printed in a book. Uh, and I made my proposal and he said, do you think it's going to work? And I said, yes, sir. Yeah, so positively, sir. And I had a bunch of reasons why. I won't get into that right now. But he then said, well, I tell you what, I'll pay you double if it works and nothing if it doesn't. And I knew it was going to work. And so I said, you're on. And I shook his hand. We did the ad. About 3 weeks after the ad came out, he paid me in full. He was ecstatic. And he paid me $8,000. And here was the thing. I made double what I'd asked for, which was 4 times what I wanted. And he was happier than if he'd grinded me down from 4 to 2. So both parties won, and it changed my life. It changed my life, literally realizing that if you can link your payments to your client's success, it's a game changer. You commission salespeople out there know that. If you're tuning in and you work on commission sales, you know that because that's how you live. But the rest of the world doesn't always operate that way. And I can tell you, every time I poll entrepreneurs, and I'll ask entrepreneurs in a room, I've done this in a room of 1,100 entrepreneurs, which would you rather pay for, knowledge or results? Knowledge or results? Almost every single person in the room votes for results. And so for all of us, little offers, big offers, medium offers, if you can link your payment to your client's success, it's a much, much better deal.
Yeah, that is so true. And so I've experienced this firsthand. Our clients have experienced this, and
Yeah, I
that's
just want to
why.
clarify something about your intro. I didn't cause you to lose all that money. That's why you're
No,
working together.
not at
He's like,
all.
all this money got lost because of Tom. He's like, well, no, that's what happened when we were trying to solve it on the other side. I just want to be clear. Believe me, I've caused enough lost money out there. I just don't want to add that to the list.
Oh, good point. I didn't realize that wasn't clear on that. But I knew you had lost a lot of money and
Yeah.
recovered, bounced back. And I didn't honestly know you very well at that time, but I had a crazy dream and I called you on a Saturday morning and it was 7:30 my time, which means it was like 4:30 your time. And you texted me right back and we were on a phone call 2 hours later and we put our heads together over that weekend. And now here we are, like a year
I
and a half
don't even
later.
remember those details. That's amazing. That's pretty
Totally.
cool.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
totally, totally,
Yeah.
totally. I didn't even know if you would even remember who I was, but you did, and we got on the phone and we created amazing things. And one of the things that I have been saying for years, and again, talking about getting out of your comfort zone, is I am never going to host a big event. I am never going to do that. The experts in the industry do 3-day events, and I'm never going to do that. That is just way out of my comfort zone. Well, here we are, a year and a half into this business, and we are hosting a 3-day event. And that's why this episode is so special, is because we're going to talk about that. And I have a special gift for all the listeners that want to come join us. And so the event is called Impact and Legacy Live. It is December 10th, 11th, and 12th. So about a month away, a little bit over that. And we're going to go through our whole process. And so, Tom, why don't you open up with kind of like what's going to kind of happen at this event? We'll kind of bounce back and forth, but I know you've done events like this before. I'm a virgin at this, and so you'll be able to be way more in tune with the experience.
Well, I love doing our 4-hour masterclass deep dive workshops. We call them strategic philanthropy workshops. Some of you listeners, I'm sure, have been to ours. I love doing the 4-hour workshop. It's so much better than a 45-minute webinar, which, let's face it, to be effective in a webinar, you're pitching almost all the time. Whereas in a 4-hour workshop, you get to teach almost all the time. And I love that. But a 3-day event done right is exponentially more teaching and sharing, and you get to actually work on things over the
Yep.
3 days. So it's not just content, right? It's content plus building skills and applying it on the spot. That's part of what I love about the 3-day event. If we do our job right, and everyone who comes will leave with a plan for a 7-figure business, leveraging their wisdom and knowledge and a business book. And that combination, I've seen it in the marketplace. That combination is like nothing else. I mean, I built, part of my background, Christie, I built 187 coffee bars. And when I was building coffee bars, I was always trying to get speaking gigs at the big coffee shows, the Specialty Coffee Association of America. It was called at the time. Now it's just Specialty Coffee Association, and the Canadian Coffee Expo, the 2 big shows in my market. And I could get breakout talks all the time, but I couldn't get any major stages. And then when I finished all those coffee bars, I wrote a book on how to build all those coffee bars, and it became an international bestseller. And the moment it came out, they all reached out and said, can you speak? Can you speak? Can you speak? Including keynote speaker, Canadian Coffee Expo the next year. And I saw firsthand what a difference a well-structured book can do in getting you the stages, right? Now, what I didn't know back then, and I wish I'd known, was the purpose of the book isn't the visibility, isn't the stages, isn't a business card on steroids. Purpose of a book is to accelerate the sales of your offering, your high-ticket program that can change people's lives. I didn't know that then. So looking back, I probably left 10 or 20 million in sales behind because I wasn't in that business anymore. I got thousands of people reaching out to me. We've sold 192,000 copies. I've got probably over 10,000 people have reached out to me. And my answer was, no, I don't do that. 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 In fact, I ended up putting an autoresponder. I didn't tell you this, Christie. I ended up putting an autoresponder on my email from the book. If you're
Really?
calling about coffee, I'm no longer doing that. I wish you the best. Good luck.
Trees.
Like that's
That's
the way to recruit customers, people.
opportunity. Oh, that's
That's the way to recruit customers. Tell them, get away, go, leave, stop reaching out to me. Okay, so I wasn't so smart on that front back then. But it's so important. It's so important. So what we're going to cover over the 3 days is the entire framework of how to structure a program that actually people want, how to narrow your audience. We talked a little bit about in the beginning. We didn't dig into that yet, but how to narrow your audience, because the narrower your audience, the easier it is
mm,
to reach that audience. And then how to scale that program, leveraging your book and a bunch of other tools and strategies along the way. Because it doesn't do you any good if you have a great program and no one buys it, obviously. And it doesn't do any good if you have a great program and a few people buy it, but then you can't grow from there, right? Then you basically have a job with economic risk. That's no good. You want to be able to grow and scale. And the 3-day event is the best format for that I've seen. This is the format that the heavy hitters in our space all use, whether that's Russell Brunson or Tony Robbins or Dean Graziosi or Lisa Nichols. The leaders in our industry use this format because it allows for the most transformation in the shortest period of time. And I know 3 days isn't a short period of time, but it is compared to a master's degree. And this will be a master's degree in building a 7-figure business, leveraging your wisdom and knowledge for sure.
yeah. Well, so I know when we do these 4-hour deep dive workshops, I have people they want the replays because they watch them over and over and over again because they're so filled with content. And it's great, but I love the fact that this 3-day experience is going to include implementation, right? So they're not just watching it and going off to the 20 million other things that they have on their schedule. They're actually having 3 days of immersion with other people that are on the same journey as them. And they're actually going to do something that they can actually apply to their business. And that's why I said yes to doing a 3-day event, is because I know how this is going to really be able to serve our audience in a much greater way.
Yeah, and it's a ton of work for us to set up the first time, frankly. I did my very first one in the fall of 2022 with this format, and I immediately fell in love with it. It's not for everyone. Not every entrepreneur should be doing it in the early stages of their business. But once you've built a 7-figure business, every one of you should consider it. So there's another reason to attend, right? As you're building your business, you should have one of these events, and you want to see one that's properly structured, properly organized, properly set up, and you'll see that if you join us for sure.
Right. So that's a great point. So maybe you don't have a 7-figure business and you want a 7 or 6-figure business. We're going to show you the steps to do that. But if you already have a very successful business and you don't have this piece integrated into your business plan, then yeah, join us because you'll be able to see it done right. I know this is my first event, but how many 3-day events have you hosted, Tom, total?
Not many. Let me think now. 1, 2, 3. Well, of this format, the deep
Yep.
dive teaching format,
Yeah.
4.
Okay.
4. I've done 3-day events with Strategic Alliance Live, as you know, which
Oh
are
yeah.
3-day joint venture breakout events for years and years. I've done well over a dozen of those, but that's different, right? That's not teaching and mastery. That is breakouts and joint ventures.
Yeah.
And so it happens to be the same length, but it's not the same idea, not the same purpose, not the same format. And so, yeah, only four.
Okay.
And it's, it's a, it, it's a ton of work to set up. But again, if you do it right, the audience, the participants, those you listening, if you decide to come join us, you're going to leave with a blueprint, right?
Yep.
There's an 8-step framework we teach. You're going to leave with each of those 8 steps flushed out and action steps on each of those. Whether or not you ever see us again, whether or not you decide to play with us at a deeper level, in those 3 days, you will get a level of mastery that will save you months and months and months of work.
Yeah, for sure. And honestly, that's one of the things I really love about the way you teach is you basically pull back the curtains and you want the audience to have that success, to get that wisdom and to know the right strategy, whether or not we ever help them at all going forward, right? We just want to be able to serve them at the highest level. And then, of course, we can help them with accountability, mentorship, community. Then that's great. If they're the right fit, yeah, we'd love to work with them. But there's been so many people that have come to our workshops because we've done the 4-hour deep dive workshop. We've probably done 6 or 7 of them already. And I know people that have actually started following the process to create their business, and they've done it without our continued support.
Yeah. Well, here's the interesting thing about this 3-day format. Done right, the more you teach people to do it without you, the more the right people will step up and say, I'd love
Yeah.
to do this with you.
Yeah.
So it's in our best interest to help every single person master it in the 3 days, because it actually converts better for us with the high ticket offer as well. And I love that. That's what education-based marketing is supposed to be. Like, if you think about the concept of education-based marketing, it isn't about manipulating someone's psyche. By now, it's time to claim your destiny, right? It's none of that subconscious command crap. That's not what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be something far bigger and far better than that. And then someone goes, that's pretty amazing.
Mhm.
You know what? I'd love some help. You guys guarantee this same stuff if we work with you? Oh my gosh, I'd love to talk to you about that. And so it's in our best interest to over deliver for the non-buyers. And what happens is then the people that are ready to build a 7-figure business and want help getting there faster and quicker will then step up and say, yeah, if you guys will have me, I'm in. And so I love that about the 3-day event. It converts better the more we give away, right? And so whether someone comes and they just want to soak it all up for themselves, or someone says, you know what, I want to soak it all up, and then I see the difference, and I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm ready for your help. Either way, it's a win for all the participants, and that's one of my favorite things about this structure. And by the way, it's not just us. The people I mentioned earlier, the big leaders in this industry, do tens of millions of dollars from events like this using this format. And so it's an extraordinarily lucrative strategy done right. But the key is you got to teach people as much of your process as possible to do that. It's not about teasing, right? Like in a webinar, the best practices are there's 5 keys to my model. You tell them all 5, or you teach one kind of deep, and then you tease them and say, you got to buy to get the rest. That's not what a 3-day format is. You got to teach the whole model, or at least you ought to. The way we do it, we do.
Right. For sure we do. And so that event, again, is called Impact and Legacy Live. It is December 10th, 11th, and 12th. And so we would love to have you, if you're listening, join us. And our ticket price is $95, but for my audience on this podcast,
we're going to charge you $295 because you're so smart. We're going to charge you. Oh no, wait a sec. We're giving them a deal, aren't we?
We're going to give them a complimentary ticket. Yes, we're not going to charge them $295, Tom. We are going to give them a complimentary ticket. All you have to do is use the code PODGIFT, and we'll have the link and all of the details in the show notes below. But this is really my way to continue to serve our audience who maybe you're brand new, maybe you just, are listening for the first time, or maybe you're one of our loyal podcast listeners, one of our fans. We want to make sure that we continue, especially at the end of the year. We want you to be able to have an amazing 2026, and we're going to definitely outline a really great format for you to make that happen.
Yeah, love it. And if you have any friends that are into building a real business, selling their wisdom and knowledge online, invite them, use the same promo code, send the message to them and get them to come. And if you're there's also another part of our audience, and that is, I don't really know what to do, how to teach. Like, I have no idea the topic. We talk about it in our workshop for about 30 seconds, what to do for that. We're going to teach that as part of the content this time as an actual deep dive teaching module. We're going to spend 90 minutes on Ikigai. So if you're in a situation where you don't know what topic, what subject, you really want to make time to come, because we can help you figure out what that topic should be so that you can build a business that not only is profitable, but it's a lot of fun. Right? Because the last thing you want to do, and I've been there before, is build a business that's making a ton of money and you really don't like it. You really don't like it. So that's another opportunity for you if you're in that situation where you're transitioning from corporate, or you're sick and tired of what you're doing now, or frankly, what you're doing now isn't working.
Mm.
You've been at it a bunch. You've been putting the hours in. You've been posting and following all the tactics du jour, right? You're using AI like a crazy person, and it's not making you any real profit. Because this isn't about gross sales. This is about profit. There's a big difference. I can tell you, as someone that's made and lost millions over the years many, many times, huge difference between gross sales and net profit. And in this approach, you can make way more profit per hour invested, which is really, if you think about it, the key. If we're going to maximize our impact for people, maximize the amount of value we bring to the world, we should be looking at how to minimize the amount of hours it takes to do that. And we're going to do that over those 3 days. So clear the whole 3 days. Like, don't come and go. You're going to want to be there for every part of it. There's enough lead time right now that you can rework your schedule and make sure you can make those hours. What hours are we running the event? Is it 8 a.m. to, I think it's 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific. So 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern.
Yes. Yeah. And so I know for me, that was a huge shift for getting away from the ascension model and doing the low ticket stuff, because now that I have a high ticket program, I'm able to do more for my clients. I'm able to have a better team. I have more profit to be able to invest back in my business, and for me personally to have a better life. So it's something that we know we want to do as an entrepreneur, but we don't know how to do it ourselves. And we tend to not do it ourselves because we stay in our comfort zone and we don't have the right person giving us the right strategy. So we're going to give you the right strategy on how to create that high ticket offer, get away from all those low ticket sales and spinning your wheels and endless social posting. We're going to give you the process that works. So again, that's Impact and Legacy Live. We will put the link and the coupon code in the show notes below for you to have your complimentary ticket. And please feel free to share it or sign up as an affiliate partner. You'll get a special link that you can share it and possibly even get commissions, which is always super fun. But before we end, Tom, do you have any final words? Because I think we covered a lot. I'd love to be able to have a huge audience.
Here's what I would say for those of you that are thinking, "Oh gosh, 7-figure business, that's too much. I just want to make like 60,000 a year or 80,000 a year." This model takes 10 to 20 hours a week and will build to a 7-figure income. It doesn't start right away as a 7-figure income. It builds to that. I think people that are doing good in the world deserve to make money because they're going to put that money back to work. They're going to donate more of it. They're going to help their friends out. They're going to build foundations and establish their own charities, right? We're not talking to an audience that's going to be buying Lamborghinis here. We're not bro marketers talking about that. That's not the audience that we're hanging with. We're talking about dolphins, not sharks. And so Christie and I believe that dolphins deserve to make that sort of money because you're going to give it back. You're going to do good in the world. So if you're sick and tired of inconsistent income, block out those days, come join us as our guest, and we'd love to help you out.
Yep. Awesome. All right. Well, thank you for listening to another episode of the Mastery Unleashed podcast. If you want to join us for Impact and Legacy Live, check out the show notes below. And of course, we will see you on the next episode as we continue to bring in amazing guests talking about their stories and their strategies to fuel your success. Thanks, everybody.